savvy psychiatrist, chivalrous chef, and sophisticated serial killer. Oh, and he's a cannibal too. What if Hannibal Lecter was a Pokemon trainer? Hello beautiful people, David here with something a little bit different. So a few days back on a Facebook group that I follow, I saw someone post a little example of, like a little picture of what Will Graham's Pokemon team would be, and I was like, that's a kick-ass idea. And after asking very politely if I could steal the idea, here I am. Shoutouts to you, Em, you rock. If you like this idea, then hit the like button, and let's just dive right into the video. First up is Gorebyss. Known as the South Sea Pokemon, Gorebyss is a sexy-ass fish that sucks up your guts when it gets its mouth inside ya. What? No, seriously, that's what the Sapphire Dex says. Although Gorebyss is the very picture of elegance and beauty while swimming, it is also cruel. When it spots prey, this Pokemon inserts its thin mouth into the prey's body and drains the prey of its body fluids. Okay, so maybe not guts, but I like to imagine a Imperfect Cell-styled everything but the skin drink fest. If you have a Miltank, and I have a Gorebyss, I drink your Miltank! I drink it up! Ultra Moon actually expands on this, adding that the leftover meat sinks to the seafloor where it becomes food for other Pokemon.
Lucky shot! Golly!
Like Gorebyss, Hannibal Lecter is also the very picture of elegance and beauty, with articulate speech, sophisticated fashion, and unblemished perfection in the fine arts, especially culinary. And beneath all this class lies a vicious serial killer who harvests the limbs and organs of anyone he deems rude. You know, as you do.
Whenever feasible, one should always try to eat the rude.
Psychologically, he finds ill manners and rudeness sufficient means to dehumanize his victims, slaughtering them ruthlessly as though they were simple livestock. He then elevates them to a new standard by cooking them into elaborate dishes to serve at his many dinner parties. With a Gorebyss, he has a charming, vibrant partner to lull others into a false sense of comfort and trust. Much like the South Sea bloodsucker, the Chesapeake Ripper presents an image of grace and dignified elegance before extracting sustenance from his prey, all the while capturing this idea of transferring something ugly to something beautiful.
Bon appetit.
To complement the crafty nature of Hannibal's antics, he gets Zoroark next. Zoroark is known as the Illusion Fox Pokemon, and those two words alone should ring Mega Lecter alarm bells. Unlike Ditto or Mew, who shapeshift, morphing their bodies, Zoroark and its pre-evolution Zorua create illusory disguises, constructs to fool the adversary. But don't take my word for it, let's hear some dex entries. Each has the ability to fool a large group of people simultaneously. They protect their lair with illusory scenery.
Loin. What kind?
Pork.
Stories say that those who tried to catch Zoroark were trapped in an illusion and punished.
If you think you're about to catch Hannibal, that's because he wants you to think that.
If it thinks humans are going to discover its den, Zoroark shows them visions that make them wander about in the woods. Seeking to ease the burden of solitude, lonely trainers tell Zoroark to show illusions to them.
Do you decide to buy it sexually?
In conjunction with a superficial, physical appearance of sophistication, Hannibal also manipulates his peers, dancing circles around FBI and mental health professionals. No matter how close they get to the true identity of the Chesapeake Ripper, he always has the wool pulled firmly over their eyes. After all, who would suspect a mild-mannered and trusted forensic psychiatrist? This is Hannibal Lecter's grand illusion, or as Will Graham would put it, this is his design.
What am I about to put in my mouth?
Rabbit.
He should have hopped faster.
Yes, he should have.
With a Zoroark, Hannibal would be able to lead his victims astray with even more convoluted schemes, creating illusions for victims and enemies alike, and also just to fuck with people because he can. Plus, foxes symbolically represent cunning, intelligence, wisdom, mischief, charm, deception, playfulness, and clever ways of thinking outside the box. A fox Pokemon definitely earns a spot on the Ripper's roster.
What Mason is experiencing isn't restricted to reality. Reality has to be forced to adapt.
A key element of Dr. Lecter's person suit is the role of a practicing psychiatrist. As a forensic psychiatrist, he remains in the good graces of law enforcement while performing a service to his patients. And he's very good at it. Using both conventional and unorthodox approaches to psychotherapy, Hannibal possesses a formidable degree of mental mastery.
You want me to do drugs?
I want you to do this drug.
With a whole slew of psychic Pokemon at her disposal, all with Lecter-approved moves like Hypnosis, Disable, and Imprison, I can think of no better Mon than Musharna. So let me be real for a sec. When I first drafted this list, the first Pokemon I thought of for Hypnosis and Hannibal Lecter was Hypno. You know, the literal Hypnosis Pokemon? Hypno is known for putting people to sleep and devouring their dreams, with an added creep factor. It made even more sense, given Hannibal Lecter's medical background, that Hypno's dex in Ultramoon mentions that some Hypno are used by doctors to help patients fall asleep in hospitals. So it stands to reason that Dr. Lecter would have at least witnessed the help that Hypno can offer, especially when he was practicing surgery prior to psychiatry. Then I thought more in the mental health angle. Dreams are powerful tools to interpret in certain approaches to therapy, like psychoanalysis. When I learned more about the drowsing Pokemon Musharna, I found that it had more or less the same powers as a Hypno, with the added effect of Dream Mist. Musharna's dex entry in Pokemon White states thusly: with the mist from its forehead, it can create shapes of things from dreams it has eaten. Several other dex entries imply that the mist can change colors based on the dreams it's eaten as well. With the visual cue of color and possibly even image playback, Musharna makes for one hell of a diagnostic tool, one that Hannibal Lecter could reasonably discover and certainly take a liking to. And with his keen sense of smell, he'd probably be able to pick up on certain dream types' scents too from the mist. Considering the apparent ubiquity of Hypno in hospitals, it'd also be pretty on brand for Hannibal to take a Pokemon that does the same thing, but even better in the mental health field, as it would elevate his reputation and reflect his desire to appear superior, in a class of his own. Couldn't you imagine him writing speculative research papers on Muna and Musharna, potentially inspiring young academics like Fennel to take dream research even farther? That'd be rad. Last thing I'll mention is that exposure to Musharna's dark mist can apparently cause someone's nightmares to become reality. I'm not sure to what extent, like is it hallucination, or like a literal matter constructing thing? Either way, no doubt the Chesapeake Ripper would find this scarecrow-esque attribute useful in tormenting people.
Cacophony of sights, sounds, smells.
I am enchanted and terrified.
And since Musharna's half asleep most of the time, it might not even be aware of the more nefarious things it's being used for.
The subject mustn't be aware of any influence.
Willing to manipulate even his own Pokemon as pawns shamelessly, Hannibal would likely have a charming Pokemon to project a harmless image, all the while showing off his flamboyance and meticulous attention to beauty. Enter Lilligant. I know, this one might seem out of nowhere, the flowering Pokemon, but according to several dex entries, even veteran trainers and first-rate gardeners have trouble getting a Lilligant's flower to bloom. Naturally, it stands to reason that Hannibal would have figured out how to have an award-winning Lilligant, with the fucking flowers of Heaven's Gate on its head. Why? Because Hannibal. Everything he does is so perfectly curated and manicured, and he would jump at the opportunity to show off a Pokemon that most people, even talented people, have trouble figuring out. He'd even water it with fucking blood or something just cause he could. Like he'd throw a dinner party and people would be like, "Wow, your Lilligant is simply marvelous," and then he'd say, "Lilligants require meticulous attention for the flower to blossom. Water, sunshine, and a little something from the heart." Additionally, Lilligant is admired for its pleasing, relaxing scent, making it something of a luxury. All the more appropriate for a distinguished serial killer with acute olfactory senses.
Did you just smell me?
Difficult to avoid.
Hannibal pairs his sharp sense of smell with an exquisite sense of taste, creating the many fancy cannibal dishes that we've talked about earlier. And I can think of no better Pokemon to represent his particular tastes than Alchemy. Alchemy? But she's all creamy. The always female cream Pokemon Alchemy is the perfect complement to any culinary master's repertoire, being found helping in cafes all across the Galar region. I personally find the idea of Hannibal cutting up some dude's thigh with Alchemy seasoning organs in the back hilarious and adorable. Oh, and if you're really wondering why I'm giving Hannibal Lecter a food Pokemon, with 63 potential looks, 64 if you count the Gigantamax form, Alchemy matches Hannibal's penchant for customizing appropriately. All of its dex entries are pretty much cookie-cutter, describing how it evolved with varying flavor descriptors for each form. As I initially thought Matcha Cream Alchemy with the matching Clover Sweet would be most appropriate given her aromatic flavor, I'm beginning to think the complex flavor of a Rainbow Swirl Alchemy with a Strawberry Sweet may be more fitting, given Hannibal Lecter's colorful style. I don't know, you decide. Oh, and speaking of deciding, I had a lot of trouble doing that while making this list, so before we move on to what's in the 6th Pokeball in Hannibal Lecter's belt, let's get some honorable mentions for the ones who didn't make the cut. Samurai, you know, cause he learned classic jujitsu from his samurai aunt girlfriend. Superior, cause he dapper as fuck. Hypno, I talked about this already. Umbreon, Sylveon, or Espeon. Dude just strikes me as an Eevee guy, but I couldn't pick one, so screw it, none. Ninetales, just seemed appropriately regal. See Zoroark for fox symbolism. Plus, the Alolan form reflects his cold-hearted nature. Cofagrigus, I don't know, to keep bodies or something? I admit, that's pretty weak in hindsight. Parasect, because its spores are used as herbs in medicine, and guess who's used mushrooms as a therapy aid? Standler or Sawsbuck. I actually really regret not giving him a deer, because that's a lot of the symbolism in the series. Carnivine or Victory Bell, uses sweet aroma to lure bitches in for a snack. Roserade, uses sweet aroma to lure bitches in for a whack. Plus, look at all the pretty flowers, wow. Milotic. I actually really wanted to give him this one because it's one of my favorites, but Gorebyss kind of covers the whole elegance and beauty and water, apparently, thing. Also adding some family-friendly gut slurping. Milotic don't do that. And Kricketune. This was the hardest one to leave out, but I kind of gave Lilligant the edge for this one. Kricketune would represent Hannibal's love of fine arts, like classical music. Oh well. Tobias definitely has one, though. Which brings us to the last Pokemon in the party. A Pokemon that represents the Chesapeake Ripper's dangerous understanding of the mind, capacity to manipulate, and pure contempt for mankind as a violent serial killer. Malamar. Malamar is known as the overturning Pokemon. Quick anecdote, I haven't seen the Pokemon anime in a long time, but I recall a couple years back where I caught an episode of one of the X and Y season episodes. Yeah, it featured Malamar, and I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed it, and the whole time I was like, holy crap, this Pokemon is evil. Now, of course, not all Malamar are evil, they're Pokemon, but one that belongs to this guy? Yikes. According to the Pokédex, Malamar boasts the most compelling hypnotic powers of any Pokemon, and it forces others to do whatever it wants. The Ultra Sun Dex goes so far to say that there's an endless number of people who utilize Malamar for their nefarious deeds. I'll just let your imagination paint a picture of what a Malamar under Hannibal Lecter's control can do. You done? Cause it ain't pretty. With Scythe-like arm tentacles, this Pokemon can learn brutal moves like Psycho Cut, Night Slash, Foul Play, and Throat Chop. Hypnosis is a given for the psychic Pokemon, of course, but thanks to its secondary dark typing, it can learn Lecter-approved tactics like Switcheroo, Fake Tears, Nasty Plot, and Taunt. It also learns Swagger, and I'm sure there's a joke to be made there. Where Musharna's emphasis on dreams shines as an aid for Lecter's therapy and subtlety, Malamar's focus on hypnotic control and physical power speaks to his unrivaled manipulations and callous brutality. He's attacked several people, made Miggs choke on his own tongue from another jail cell, and who knows what he said to Mason Verger when he made him peel off his face.
Try peeling off your face.
Oh yeah, that's what he said. Despite all of this, as the overturning Pokemon, Malamar can flip its brutal side to work alongside its master in the therapeutic process, appearing as a useful ally to the FBI. Much like the not-so-good doctor himself, Malamar knows when to use his abilities to keep up appearances, all the while knowing what he's really there for.
You are dining with a psychopathic murderer, Frederick.
And that's that. Hannibal Lecter's team, as far as my interpretation goes, is thusly Gorebyss, Zoroark, Musharna, Lilligant, Alchemy, and Malamar. I didn't do this on purpose, but I just realized those are all second stage evolutions. Kind of interesting. By the way, I would not give him a legendary, but if I did, it would be Xerneas. Deer symbolism is huge in Hannibal, and his demon vision is a black Wendigo with stag antlers. Also, there's something really symbolic about having life itself under your thumb. I could see Lecter at least attempting to catch it, or kill it even at some point in his life. So let me know what you think, guys. Do you love the list, hate the list, want to eat the list? If you thought of a better team for Hannibal, comment down below. I'd love to hear other people's takes. And if you want to see another fictional character, let me know. This was super fun to research and script out. I'd be super down for it, so give me some suggestions. As always, do like this video if you like this video, subscribe if you haven't, smack the bell so you never miss a thing. Oh yeah, and also consider donating on Patreon. That's a thing that I have, and I always forget to promote it. Either way, love you guys. As always, this is Dave out. Peace out.